All right, guys, welcome. It's a Thursday afternoon, sunny in downtown Toronto. We're on a patio, and today we're going to go over a bunch of ways that you can reduce calorie intake or plan ahead for eating out at restaurants, because you're going to be going out, like trying to keep calories down. You're going to be going out on Friday and Saturday nights. You're going to have work dinners and work lunches and all this stuff that comes up. And although eating out less is definitely what I see to be the most effective way to lose weight, on this subject, you're gonna need some tools to keep calories down, because if you take a look at this menu, all I'm seeing are basically 900 calories, 1100 calories, 1300 calories, 1590, and in some cases these are just base meals where as soon as you take an option on top, you're into the 1600 calorie range, the burgers and fries. We know research tells us that the average meal in America, which is, we have research on this that we can pop up, but 1200 calories is typically the average, and that's typically what I tell people, the rule of 1200. If you're not sure, it's probably somewhere around there. We got salads at 1000 calories, so we're going to be going over that stuff, but right now we're going to be going into a bunch of tips to keep calories down so that you can still go out and enjoy yourself, but still stay on track with your goals so that you're not like scrambling to not eat all day so you can fit in a huge meal like this. We're gonna have a lot of options for you to choose from, so we'll get into that right now. All right, so tip number one is to actually plan ahead. So, if you have something coming up on a Friday night, maybe Thursday, maybe the morning of, or something like that, you're getting onto the menu online and taking a look at the actual menu and kind of being like, that looks good. Because what most people end up doing is they're like, they get there and they're like, oh my God, I just got to choose what's healthy. You're looking at this, salad, 1060 calories. Like, if you're just going for what's healthy, you might find out that it's not really making a difference when it comes down to it, because, as we're going to show you in a bit, the salad dressing that's going to come by that I ordered as a side probably has about 400 to 500 calories in it. So it's just like healthy versus unhealthy at a restaurant may not matter that much. So you might want to get on the menu, take a look at what you actually want, plan it out. Like maybe it is a salad. Salads are delicious. Maybe you're like, we're going to go through a lot of the tips that we're going to go over coming up. You can take those and plan ahead for what you actually want to do when it comes to the restaurant, because when you show up, it's like your daily life. If you're just going to go through it and not have a plan for where you're going to eat, you're going to just end up at the whims of all the restaurants, snack foods, what your friends give you, what your coworkers give you, rather than having a plan for meals that you can actually stick to. So the first tip is actually just to check out the menu beforehand, go into MyFitnessPal, plan it into your day, and have a plan going into the meal. It's much easier to stick to, and if you've never done it, the first time you do it, you're like, oh, this makes things so much easier. So plan ahead, check the menu, use MyFitnessPal early on, do a little research, plan what you're going to change about the meal, if anything, or working the rest of your day around some sort of 1400 calorie burger and fries or something like that, or drinks on top. Like, does anyone actually do like custom orders like that, like chicken and grilled vegetables or whatever? Does anyone ever do that?
Yeah. Do you want like celery and carrots? Because we don't have like the steamed vegetables anymore.
So just plain like celery and carrots?
Yeah.
That sounds diet friendly enough. How often does that happen? Like, do people actually order that?
Quite frequently.
Yeah.
We used to have like a larger menu. This is our new summer menu.
Yeah.
So before we used to have like a smoked salmon with like the veggies and the rice. So like people would substitute that for chicken.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do the carrots and celery and then grilled chicken.
Grilled chicken.
And actually, can you bring a side of just Caesar dressing?
Caesar dressing.
Yeah.
Of course.
Cool. And he'll grab the. What's the most popular burger?
Holy smoked burger.
The Holy Smoked. He'll grab Holy Smoked burger with fries, but if you could bring a side of house salad with it, perfect. Awesome, thanks. So what I just did there was probably the most aggressive diet-friendly move, is actually making a custom order, which if you felt the awkwardness there, I was trying to create that, but sometimes people like don't realize they can actually just order whatever the hell they want at a restaurant. And I'm not saying you got to do that one, but if you like, aside from ordering like soup, that's probably the best way. And in some state, like if you're at a work dinner, you might not want to do that one. You might not want to be in front of like a sales prospect or like your boss and ordering like, water with a grilled chicken and some celery. Like, it just might not work socially in that context. But it's an option that you can use to keep calories, and honestly, the calorie total of that meal is probably going to be like 300. Like, she's not going to do it. I don't think there's going to be anything extra done to that burger. It's grilled, plain vegetables, 30 to 40 grams of protein, and probably like 300, 400 calories tops. So that's like the most aggressive and serious way to stay on the diet, aside from not coming, but just an option that you can use when you need it. Third tip we got is, although it's nice to like know exactly what the calorie numbers are, in some cases just coming into the restaurant and knowing that you significantly lowered calories is actually a big win. And when in doubt, if you're going to choose between having the 1,200 calorie salad or the 1,000 calorie salad, or shaving off some ingredients from something like from any meal, not just salads, but salads present a good example, because, you know, in a lot of cases, the reason why the salads are so high is not just the dressing, which the dressing is huge, but sometimes you're getting bacon, cheese, you have Parmesan, croutons aren't helping, sometimes avocado, which is a super healthy ingredient, a healthy food, but it's also pure fat. And the reason why fat is a challenge compared to carbs and protein is because each gram of fat is 9 calories versus each gram of carb or protein is going to be 4 calories. So when you have a food that's high in fat, like avocado is pure fat, bacon is high in fat, all these foods, you're getting, for one, high taste and hyper palatability, where you want to have it more. Obviously, bacon's delicious, and it's making your meal more delicious as well, which is making you want more of it. You're also getting a very small, or even invisible in the case of, like, you know, dressing or oils, that's actually very high in calories. So you can't really see it, or it doesn't look significant, but it's adding a lot. So tip number 3 is take a look for those high fat, high calorie ingredients and ask to have half of them, or ask to cut some of them out, like no cheese, or no, like skip the avocado, or just half of it. Any way you can lower it down to the point that you're probably saving 200, 300 calories off of that thing. If you take all of those ingredients off, now you're probably gonna say, that's gonna make it a super boring salad. It's just an option, but you could also just take half of it off and save 100, 200 calories here and there, which is helping. The biggest thing is, when you're looking at this menu, take a look at those ingredients on your so-called healthy choices and make sure that you realize that, okay, the bacon's high in calories, the avocado's high in calories, the croutons probably are, there's tons of dressing in this. At least be aware of that so that you can pick and choose and be like, maybe I don't need bacon, or maybe I don't need all that cheese, or something like that. So those are good places to look to cut down, where chances are the meal's going to end up tasting pretty well just as good, but you can actually save some calories without even realizing it. And now another thing you can do to keep the calories down is, and no one ever really thinks of this one, in an ideal situation you would ask to have them do this right away, so it gives you less of an option. I'm going to make a fool out of myself cutting this with this butter knife, but what I would actually have them do is ask for them to cut the meal in half, whatever it may be, whether it's a pasta or like a burger and fries or something. Have them put half and half, bring half of it in a box and half of it to you. Like, that may not be the one you want to make, and you may want to choose something else, but this is just another option in terms of, like, you know, you've got probably this was entirely a 1,700-1,800 calorie meal. If you could have had them cut everything in half, all of a sudden you're in the 800-900 calorie range. If you're someone that's used to eating all of it, that is a massive swing in the right direction, whereas you're still getting the taste you want, and you're probably just like having the benefit of not leaving here gassy and bloated, but you still got the taste of what you wanted in the first place. Like I talked about earlier when I was talking about, you know, don't just choose the healthy option. Sometimes it's best to just choose whatever you want and just get half of it. Because yesterday, and we're on Thursday, yesterday I posted this morning I posted my calories for yesterday. So I'm supposed to be staying in the 2,300, 2,500 range. Yesterday I decided to go get sushi after I've eaten everything. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna eat really low tomorrow, which I don't tell people to do every day or like consistently or to extremes. But in certain cases, if you want to do that, I don't see any problem with it. So I decided, okay, I'm gonna keep my calories really low today, and then I was gonna have the sushi yesterday, which I did. So this works well for me right now, and I don't really care. I don't need to have like a fucking burger and fries every time. This may not work well for you. You may be like, I'd never do that. Honestly, this is pretty depressing looking. No one's saying you have to do that. If you end up in a restaurant and like you're at the point where like you've got the last 5 to 10 pounds to lose, and you continue to get frustrated about the fact that you keep going to restaurants and blowing it, and at a certain point, for someone who's got a lot of weight to lose, I don't think they ever have to put themselves in a situation where they do this. Like, I would almost rather them just go over their calories and like eat that and then get back on track the next day. For some people who are in a position where they're in the last 5 pounds, like they're in like cutting mode, if you actually are serious about that goal, stuff like this becomes more necessary. And if I wasn't gonna do this and I wanted to have something more like that, it would take a lot more planning and working around this, because that's probably around 1,500 calories. And if you only have 16, 17, 18, 2,100, 2,500 on the day, and you're in like the last 8 weeks of a cut or the last 4 weeks of a cut, and you're like in the shape you want, but just getting the last bit off, this might be your option, and it might be the best option aside from not showing up here at all. Not saying everyone's got to do this one, but in certain cases, it actually might be the move you want to take. But I'm just trying to throw this out there as it is an option you can make if you just like, if you're at a restaurant and you're not hungry and you just like want to keep it clean. This is better than taking the healthy option off the menu, which would usually be like the Caesar salad, which is 1,060 calories. So the next thing you can do is, if you're in the mood for like a burger or fries, now that one's a little bit more challenging. Like this burger is like a little bit exaggerated with all like, oh my God. That burger on its own is coming in at 1,200 calories. So for a lot of you 1,200 calorie a day diets, that's your meal for the day. It gives us a range, and 590, it's got a range up here for the sides. One of them's 580, and I think that's the fries. Like, I would bet this is probably like a 1,700 to 1,800 calorie plate. So if you're really in need of a burger, like if you're someone who usually does this, I would like just like do that. Like, give them away. Like, unless you're completely fine with today's gonna be a big calorie day, which honestly, whenever I talk to clients, I'm always like, what do you wanna do? And like, as long as they're accepting of the repercussions of going away for a weekend and uninhibited at food trucks and bars and restaurants and around their friends and snacking and drinking and all this stuff, then I'm okay with it, as long as they understand what they're doing. Because if someone's like, yeah, I'm okay, like if progress stalls for a week. I had a client that went to Bonnaroo last week and she's like, I'm gonna eat a bunch and drink a bunch with my friends. And I'm like, as long as you're okay with that, awesome, I have no problem with that. Like, the problem lies when people like don't get this stuff and they come back and they're mad because they just had like one burger and it was a big, like, this is a huge meal. What I would say, if someone wants the sandwich or if someone wants the burger, take away the side, get a side, ask for this, ask for like a plain salad, find something to go with it that's basically nothing, or find a burger that's like, there's a burger here that's 780 calories, this one's about 400 calories more. Play around with it like that, or at least know that when you're doing the burger and fries thing, you're in the realm of like, you know, you're 16, 17, 1,800 calories when you're doing the whole fries and the entire burger or the entire sandwich or something like that. Make sure that you just like, either know what you're doing or pull a bunch of it away to at least make it more reasonable, so that it becomes something that, even though this is 1,200 and burgers are 900 or 1,000 or something like that, it puts you in a position at least to be more reasonably able to plan around this meal, or even cut the burger in half, which is another way that works as well. Cutting the burger in half, no fries, hum fries, something like that. But you've got options in terms of what you can do to make this a little bit more reasonable. But to me, when you go with the burger, you're basically making a decision that you're probably going to go over calories, and you just have to be okay with that. So now to talk about the one that like everyone does when they go to a restaurant, they're on a diet, they get the salad, the healthy option, the one with all the greens. In a lot of cases, these salads are coming into 1,060, 800 calories, like, and there's only 2 options here, but in a lot, like, for the most part, when I see salads on menus, we're looking usually at probably lower than some of the other meals, but really not much lower. Is it healthier? Yeah, there's probably more vegetables than in what you're gonna get in most of the other meals. But if your goal is fat loss on a one-time meal or a few times a week or something, I would rather you be making decisions more in terms of what the calorie load actually is, rather than thinking that all of a sudden, like, you're gonna have all kinds of health problems the next day because you didn't eat the vegetables. We gotta focus on what really actually does matter, and although on a continuous basis and on a macro level, getting more vegetables in, more fiber, more micronutrients is gonna make dieting easier. But if showing up to a restaurant and getting like, and using some of the other tips, or not just getting the salad, keeps things in line better and allows you to enjoy life more, that could actually be making dieting easier for you. So don't just go straight to the healthiest option without thinking that, okay, well, this is still going to be 1,100 calories on the Caesar salad. So one thing you can do, and I ordered this dressing on the side, and this is probably about the amount of dressing that they put in a salad. I've seen, in some cases, a side of dressing come back quite a bit more when I ask for like a Caesar salad with dressing on the side. This could be about 300 calories. I'm going to take a guess. It's probably not the light version. It's probably the tastiest dressing you can find, the fattiest, the creamiest. So we're probably looking at something like, if you were to take this off of the salad, you're basically taking a 1,000 calorie salad into 700 calories or something like that, something closer to that. If you take half of it, you're shaving some off. So another option, like, and honestly, when I've done half dressing or even just taking some and pouring some on, it doesn't really change the enjoyment of the meal for me. So it's something this is actually one I do a lot, is like salad, half dressing, and I might add chicken just to hit some protein, but I might not. But it's one way that you can take a 1,000 calorie salad, an 800 calorie salad, back down, 200 calories or so or something like that, which again is just like I talked about earlier. Sometimes it's not just knowing exactly how much you're eating, but just knowing that you actually made a significant swing to lower the calorie count in total, which is actually going to help in the long run. Like, whenever you're eating out, you got to know that like this probably isn't helping unless you do what I did with the grilled chicken and vegetables, or something really like extreme to keep the calories down like I did. But at least you're not like having 1,200 calories in a meal, and you might actually be able to get away with 600, 700, or 800, which sounds like a lot, but it's pretty much what you're signing up for when you start ordering off the menu. And these little changes like this that don't actually change the enjoyment of a round too much and aren't too awkward to make, puts you in a little bit more control about how much you're eating. Yeah, and if anyone does want to make fun of my order, grilled chicken, celery, carrots, for all those people who don't feel like they have any money out there, $3.97 for the grilled chicken, $1.98 for the celery, no beer. That's a $7 meal, including my Diet Coke. Not bad. I'm happy about that. I feel good. Let's go. And in case you have been wondering about this drink, it is Diet Coke. Jason's got one too. 0 calories. You could go for water. You could go for tea. You could go for coffee. Honestly, you could go for a beer or an orange juice or a wine or a cocktail, but obviously just realize that, this is increasing your inhibitions and obviously increasing calorie count. The complaint about Diet Coke is, among a lot of pseudoscientists out there, is that health effects and all that from the artificial sweeteners, which to date has no actual proof behind it. So it's basically just people making stuff up that kind of sounds plausible. Oh, like, don't eat stuff that, like ingredients that you can't pronounce and stuff like this that actually doesn't make any sense, because, all the food we eat has stuff that we've never heard of before and stuff that sounds really chemical. But to date, we don't have any proof that, artificial sweeteners are the problem we thought. There is some gut bacteria stuff that does come up, but the amounts you need of this stuff to create a noticeable problem or a noticeable change is in the hundreds of drinking these. Like, you're not going to get anything wrong from having one of them. And honestly, the research shows it tends to help people keep calories down because it gives them something that they're looking for without the calorie cost of getting the normal Pepsi or the normal drink. So in conclusion, you don't have to do any of these things. But if you consistently go to restaurants and you just eat off the menu and don't do anything about it, that, in my experience working with clients, dealing with this myself, like just being around weight loss and calorie counting and just like, or whether it's calorie counting or not, it's just like weight loss in general, going to restaurants on a regular basis and just choosing the healthy meal or just choosing anything you want and you deserving a break because you've done well for 4 days is probably going to be a big reason that nothing is happening. So you get that choice. If you want to have the whole burger, go for it. But there's also a ton of ways that you can actually show up to a restaurant, decide what's best for you in that scenario. Like I said earlier, I don't really mind if someone's, if a client of mine says, I'm just going to enjoy this and not care. That's great. I see this happen all the time. And sometimes they want to just not care, and sometimes they do. As long as I don't see situations where people like yourself are going to restaurants, eating whatever they want, and then completely disappointed when you should be well aware that this is just a huge calorie intake. So you're making a decision against your goals, and that's okay. But if you're constantly doing it, don't expect to get anywhere. So plenty of tools for you to use, plenty of options for you to take. The extreme grilled chicken with plain celery, just to show you that that is an actual option that you can take. And then the extreme on the other end, the 1,800 calorie holy smoked burger with fries, and then all these changes we can make in between to at least lessen the calorie load. And planning ahead, again, just to reiterate, going onto the menu, using MyFitnessPal. You know, if the restaurant isn't listed, this is actually important, I should have talked about this earlier. If the restaurant isn't listed in MyFitnessPal, what you would do is you would find a similar meal from another restaurant and choose the highest listing. So if you're getting like Caesar salad or a club sandwich or something from a restaurant that wasn't listed and you are in weight loss, if you're in weight loss, put it in MyFitnessPal, and you're gonna get obviously a bunch of options in different restaurants. If you're in weight loss, it would be the smart move to choose the highest one, because if you're gonna make an error on how many calories it is, if you're trying to lose weight, you may as well err on the side of guessing too much rather than too little. But basically, tons of options for you to take here. Plan ahead, choose what you want, and just know that you're making decisions that are either in line with your goals or not, and be okay with whichever one you're making. If you have any questions, hit the comment box. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me which one you like the most. If you like the video, hit subscribe, hit like, and we'll see you with a new video soon.